Alrighty, hi everyone, and welcome to the Sweet Commonwealth Student Panel. My name is Kelly Weichel, and I'm a Member Relations Director of the Society of Women Engineers here at University Park. And this video is kind of meant to showcase what it's like to transfer to University Park if you're interested in doing that, or also just kind of meet some of our awesome members and hear their experiences in terms of their Penn State life. So we're going to start off by introducing everyone, and then say your name, your major, your year, and all that fun stuff. So we'll start on this side and work over.
Okay, so my name is Mariam Sef. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in chemical engineering with a minor in biomedical engineering. And this is my first semester at University Park, and I moved from Barrett.
My name is Gabriela Gonzalez. I'm a junior in computer engineering, and this is my first semester, and I come from Berks campus.
My name is Isa Mustafa Sam. I am a senior in chemical engineering with a minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. And this is my fourth semester in U Park. And I actually came in the summer of my freshman year, so fifth semester-ish. So yeah.
My name is Meg Abula. I am actually from the Brandywine campus, and this is my second semester up here. I'm majoring in chemical engineering with a minor in economics.
Thanks. So start off with a pretty broad question. So what is your most favorite aspect about University Park?
Okay, so we'll start. So my favorite one is the resources that University Park offers to their students. So like you can go to anyone and they will be able to help you out. So that's pretty much what I love about Penn State.
I think the favorite aspect that, according to me, is like the diversity here. There's so many cultural clubs you can join. Like at my branch campus, they didn't have a lot of like cultural clubs, but I think they have it here. And also, there's so many clubs that you can choose from.
Just going off of that, I think there are a lot of opportunities, such as getting involved in research within your program, which really helps with classes and getting to know your faculty members and just like working with professors. And if you're interested in grad school, that's like a good way to start. And also, there's more diversity of courses at University Park. And sometimes when you're at a branch campus, you're not as exposed to a broad spectrum of majors. And you kind of go in with one thing, but when you're in college, you can also decide that your passion lies elsewhere. University Park is great at giving you that opportunity.
Well, my favorite aspect is sweet. I'm actually the member relations.
I didn't pay her to say that.
But I'm actually the external relations chair. I work under Kelly. But the reason SWE was actually my support group here, and I've actually grown a lot ever since I found myself involved with it. So coming off of what Mariam and Gabby said, clubs here are really great. You can always find your little corner here, and also sometimes University Park is a great place for you to grow, especially your communication skills, especially because I was such an introvert, and University Park forces you to socialize, it forces you to communicate, because otherwise you don't get anywhere. So in that kind of area, I have grown a lot, I would say.
That's awesome. And then that reminds me, big shout out to Meg for writing all these questions and putting most of this event together. So I'm really proud of her. It's like her first awesome big event in Sweden. So thank you for putting in all that work. And yeah, so let's move on to the next question. So what is the biggest challenge you faced when you transfer?
I think my biggest challenge, I'm also an international student. I apologize if I forgot to mention that. I'm not from here. So transferring from a small high school like campus to a huge campus like University Park, it was overwhelming. I was miserable in my first semester. I was homesick. Also, if anyone of you are chemical engineers and trying to transfer up here in your third semester, you know that you have to take a couple of your first engineering courses per se, and that's really hard because the way of thinking is hard, the way they grade is hard. Getting a hold of your teachers is so much more important, but it's also harder because they're not always available. And I didn't really know how to work the TA office hours or tutor hours into my schedule. I guess overall scheduling was my biggest problem. Scheduling everything that I was trying to get done in 3 months was the biggest challenge I had.
I think onto what Megan said, it was really overwhelming when you move from like a smaller campus to like a bigger campus, and also like the student to teacher ratio is like a lot more than here than it was at the branch campuses. Like the class sizes, some of your class sizes are going to be a lot more, like 200, 300 students. And what helped me most is like forming like study groups among people, and it really helps for you to like study together and everything.
Yeah, and my perspective is more like kind of had difficult forming friendships. So I try to talk to people, but then most of them, they already have their friends, so it's kind of awkward to go into those people and be like, do you want to be my friends, or do I want to talk to you? But it's like you like yourself because you feel it's like you don't fit there. You feel like you're new, like you're a freshman again. So
they've already formed
yeah,
their own
everyone
group,
is- yeah,
and
they're-
you can't really be like, oh, can I be your
can
friend?
be your friend, yeah. So that's pretty
hard.
much like what I think for me. But besides that, like classes as well. Classes is really way different. Like she said, it's a lot of people, a lot of students, and you have to learn how to study on your own, most likely.
It's basically a lot of work.
A lot of work.
So I am an international student from Nigeria, and I had, I guess, two transitions, I would say, which was into the branch campus in itself, into an American culture, which was very different. I was around people who looked like me, but had a different culture like me, so fitting into, that community was also difficult for me. And then I had to come to University Park, which was even, I would say, less diverse, with less people who look like me within my program, and so I was forced to work in teams with, people completely different from me. Communication was a very big issue. It seemed like, mannerisms and all that was a big issue, and I guess I was coming to understand the political climate in the U.S., and that was very hard for me to swallow because as I was experiencing it and learning it at the same time, I had to learn to deal with it and accept it as a reality. So that was a huge challenge because I went to a high school that graduated with 12 people, extremely sheltered home, and so I was not exposed to all of this. University Park is like a new world for me. It's very hard to take on, and it's something that I continually just trying to be more accepting of everything and dealing with it. So that was a big challenge for me. Still is, perhaps.
You're always gonna have those challenges. That's gonna be a challenge no matter what. Whatever, like transferring to your job force, like it's another company, so another more people you have to. So it's gonna be.
That's so interesting because you're right. There's academic stressors and there's like so many other factors that play into like how you feel. And yeah, engineering is hard, but like sometimes life is hard too.
Yeah.
So it like really hits like all at once sometimes. It's like all your experiences were so different, but so incredibly true. So thank you so much for your input, guys. Fantastic. And kind of to bounce off of that a little bit. So what is your biggest difficulty that you dealt with academically? So kind of, if you can think about that a little bit.
I had one entrance of major left, which was Maths 251, if y'all remember that. Maths 251. So back in Brandywine, all the math classes were like a breeze. Like you do a set of similar questions, and you have the exact set of similar questions with just a different change in numbers, or maybe like a few extra words thrown in there in the final exam, and you make an A, and you're happy, and you get out of that class. But for me, dealing with all the emotional stuff surrounding the transfer and compounded to that, I wasn't doing very well in catching up to the way of thinking. Like, you really have to understand what's going on if you want to attempt the exams, because exams are very concept-based. They're not number-based. They force you to think. They force you to question your thinking. And if you don't know how to do that, well, you fall behind. And that was my biggest challenge, is because in Brandywine, I used to breeze through the courses because they were so similar and they never deviated away from what was taught in class. But sometimes here in the exams, especially in engineering, it deviates away, and professors are allowed to do that. They will do that to you because they want to give you the real world experience when you go out there and find a job. So even if math is just supposed to be a bunch of numbers and do a bunch of calculations, it was not like that. For me, that was really, really hard. Coming from a straight A student to getting B's and C's, it takes a hit on your confidence.
Yeah.
So it took me the entire summer to revamp myself and reinvent yourself. Like, it'll take time, but I did it. I did get into chemical engineering. I'm happy part of it. I'm officially a chemical engineering major now. But yeah, that was what I thought was really hard up in University Park. You have to stay on top of stuff, you know?
Yeah, like not to scare people, but definitely University Park is like a lot harder than a branch campus. Like from my perspective, I took all my interest to major in Berks campus, but like now that I'm here at University Park, it's one class. Like she said, oh, they prepare you to work in for your jobs. So like my computer science professor, he was saying how like you can when you're coding, you can go online, you can go on Google and get like the answers. So the thing that he was gonna test you on is like how do you get it? You have to explain it to me if you understand the concept. So like you can literally go on Google and get the answers, but you have to be able to derive everything. Be like, oh, I get this because you get this one from that. So just references, and then you're like, it is easy, but it's actually harder than you think. So it's more like you have to put more time into it, work towards to understand the material instead of just I'm gonna do it. They're gonna teach me, and I'm gonna do it. But you have to teach yourself. So I think the difficult for me is more like, oh, now I have to study on my own. Now I have to learn on my own, and not actually deliver what I learned. So I think, like I said, learning on my own was my difficult thing.
Yeah, basically
Right now.
rote learning never works here.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
a way.
Basically, it's more like, oh, I'm just gonna learn for the exam. No. You have to like actually understand it, know how to deliver it, and then from that, you're like, oh, wow, I get it. So everything builds out from the same thing, from the bottom to the top.
And also, I think like in like your branch campuses, you don't have to put that many hours in each of the classes that you take. But when you get to University Park, because for a lot of us, we were juniors when we moved in, we're taking like the major core classes with like other like hard classes too, like molecular and cell bio, which is a hard class too. So I think like you have to put a lot of effort on your own at first, and then if like things don't make sense, you have to go to the professors. But at times it's hard to, because like it's hard to fit like their office hours in your like schedule too. But then you end up studying on your own and then trying to figure out everything on your own. So I think University Park, you have to be really ready to be independent on your studying and everything. Like try to work out things, put in more time in the subjects too. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, like everything, all this is because we have more students. So professors is like one professor to 300 and something students. So it's more like, oh yeah, you have to learn your own because the professor's not gonna have time to everyone, like to teach one by one. So yeah.
So I definitely agree, but perspective is that when we were taking like calc, physics, chem, some of those material from high school, you can kind of remember it, and so reading over it and learning it in class is almost like a repetition. And once you get to University Park and you're taking material balances and thermal, that's a new way of thinking. That's a new language that you have to learn because of chemical engineering, especially there's too many chemical but yeah, like there's a language, there's a chemical engineering language, and you'll see it as a trend in most of your classes. If you're a chemical engineer, yes, you will learn that you'd have to read a question and kind of, know what equation to use, know what to cancel out, this is too much tangent.
Like computer engineering, computer science, the same thing. It's another language you have to learn, and it is really hard to a professor teach it to you. So that's why it's like they offer you to kind of go like get resources, but then kind of like when it comes to exams, you have to explain how do you get things. So
I never thought of chemical engineering as a language. I like the way I like it. But it's true, yeah. Because also most of the times your classes, you can't differentiate your engineering classes because everything connects. Like if you take 210, if you take say Chem 210, that's the first one of the first chemi courses that people take. Say you take 210 and you can completely ignore it for 220. You can't completely ignore 220 when you're working on 210 because these classes, even though they're taken separately, it's just that they're all going to come into interplay when you are solving a problem, when you're solving a typical engineering problem. So you can't ever differentiate your class. Like you can differentiate 110 and Chem 110 and Chem 112 or Math 231 and Math 140. You can't ever differentiate your class. It's all a medley when you think of it.
Yeah, and they also build on to the next classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I challenged myself at my research lab and it was very it is very self-motivated. Like you have to kind of pick the project that you want to work on. The information is there on the drive for you. So I think a strong difficulty, because this is not a requirement, I purely put this on myself, is you have to work. Like the professor's going to be there to support you, but you have to motivate yourself. And for the longest time, I guess I wasn't communicating and I wasn't understanding, and so that was kind of a hindrance to my learning. And over time, and just talking to other people, interacting with other people in the lab, and asking them, how do you do this? How do you do that? So I guess for about a year, I was kind of just like floating until I could finally ask someone, so how did you start this? How did you start that? So yeah, it's very frustrating having to work with people who are doing a lot and then you not knowing how to put yourself in that.
Yeah, sometimes we have different perspectives since we come from like branch campuses. There's like 4 or 5 people that you work with, and then coming here and working with a lot more people, and then hire like juniors and seniors, and then you just come as a sophomore or sometimes as a junior. It's really hard to keep up with them as well.
I think those are both like really good metaphors for just like University Park students. Like we're totally not thinking about that ever. Like at least the majority of us, we're kind of like in our own world. Like, oh my gosh, I have to think like an engineer now. That's like my only focus is learning how to just kind of operate like that. And then you don't realize like, wait, there's some people in my class right now where like their mindset in terms of like what they're learning and like what they're trying to accomplish is way different from what I am. And I think once I get more into engineering classes, I'll like come to realize like, oh, there's a lot of people I recognize, some people I don't recognize, and I should reach out to them. I should like get to know people and like kind of work on always helping each other, because I feel like a huge advantage to going to like just state schools in general, but especially Penn State, is that a lot of us like to work together, not against each other. Especially with like whatever, it could be academic, it could be something else. We like to help each other, and I feel like if we make more of an effort to like keep that mindset in mind more often, I think it could help kind of just bring everyone together. And also maybe if there's something that like someone does need help with, maybe someone else can help them with that and like kind of like move that learning along a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's competitive, but it's not competitive as like you go down, I go down kind of thing. No,
Right.
It's more like, hey, I'll help you out, but you're gonna have to do most of the work yourself. Kind of competitive.
Right, exactly.
See what you mean?
No one's gonna spoon feed you, in other words. People want to like share the words, and I think that's the key to passing university classes. Have a group of people, even if it's 4 people, 25% each goes a long way and reduces a lot, and you can work on other stuff.
Yeah, and actually you develop your teamwork skills as well. So like if you make, like she was saying about groups in their classes, like work, like someone will work in something, like one will work on something else. So once everyone works together, they bring everything together, and then okay, we have the answer of the question that we were. So pretty much.
And also, I feel like if someone's like an introvert, at times it can be harder for them to like go to the professor, the TA officers, to ask them questions. So if you have like the study groups, it'd be much more easier to ask each other questions, because probably we're all going at the same, we're all at the same pace, or like having the same problem in those questions too. So it would be really helpful to ask each other and help each other too.
Yeah, I think a good general like success strategy is like whenever I go into a new class, even if it's super intimidating, even if I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't belong here, like this is too much, like, I don't know a single person in the room, I will sit down next to someone who like, I'm like, okay, I'll just sit next to someone if there's an end seat or something, and I will just start to get to know them. Hi, what's your name? I've like literally done that before, and then I get to know someone. B, if there's a group chat for that class, everyone helps each other, you can make the group chat a lot easier if you know one person who's already in it, or like people will make them. So I think if even if you're introverted, like as you guys were saying, and I am too, but if you just like sit next to someone and just say hi, like, it can help break in a little bit, and it can like help confine itself through students, and it's kind of like one extra way you can kind of be successful, regardless of where you're coming from or what your background is in terms of transferring or not transferring.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you talk to someone else, like one person, that person might not help you out, but then they know someone that can help you out, so they just connect you with, oh, I don't know how to do this, but my friend knows, so that's how you build the relationships as well.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. Next question: did you seek help on or off campus to help you deal with any of those issues that you guys have mentioned, or problems that you've come in contact with?
Yeah, I personally ask for a lot of help. Like I'm one of those persons that if I have a question, even though it's the stupidest question, I'll just go to someone that I know. Oh, can you help me? How can I get this? How can I do that? So I reach out to professors, my TAs, or just people in the department that I don't even know. But then I was like, oh, probably she can help me because she works here. So it's more like just asking. I will just ask the professors and the people around in the departments. So yeah.
I think like what I did was like a lot of times when I'm like trying to seek help, I either go to like the officers of the TAs because like they have taken those classes, they've been through the same thing, and they know how to help you. And at times it's really helpful because like the professor is not going to tell you how to prepare for the exam for most of the classes. So the TAs, since they have been there, they have been in our like situation, the same situation we're going through. They can really help you like prepare for the exams and like guide you through like what to focus more on than the other things.
So just because of some of the, I would say, mental difficulties that I faced, like, transferring, I did go to CAPS, and I currently enrolled in CAPS, and I have a counselor that I meet with weekly, and that has helped a lot. It helps to talk to someone and to look for support. Sometimes friends are not able to be there for you. That's like it's a big favor to ask of someone to carry your emotional trauma and listen to your stories. So yeah, I would definitely suggest CAPS if you come out here and you feel I need to de-stress. I need to talk to someone. Please do yourself a favor and do that. And I didn't have any friends also in my classes. Like, I came with people from my branch campus, but it was a situation where we were all not doing well, and we were all just looking for people outside of our circle to, kind of look out for help, because it's hard to go to those office hours when you have like a bazillion other things that you're committing your time to. And so, I joined the research lab, and I made friends there who introduced me to their friends, and then that's how it kind of just like built up. And I'm like, oh wow, I know a bunch of chemical engineers. I'm comfortable. Like, I'm not gonna cry while I'm work anymore. Yeah,
That was so relatable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So to bounce off of that, how did you get enrolled in CAPS? Like, how do you go about it if you're interested in doing that?
So honestly, someone pushed me to do it. I was just like really sad all the time. She'd always ask me, "Hey, are you okay?" And the one day I could breathe, but I couldn't breathe. And I was just like in my apartment, and I just like made a phone call, and I scheduled like a routine, like I think survey. Like, they evaluate you basically and ask you a couple of questions. It's about like a 15-20 minute phone call where they talk to you and kind of try to see where you're at. And then depending on the urgency of the matter, they schedule like a first meeting for you, which doesn't count towards the number of meetings you have total in the semester. And you see a counselor, and then she also gives you like a physical evaluation. You have like an hour meeting and talk to her. And after that meeting, she then decides if she wants to take you on, if you really like need it, or if you can be postponed or waitlisted. So CAPS tends to have a lot of students, like, going there, and they need to prioritize some situations over others. And so also, there's a whole due process that goes, but it's pretty easy, and as long as you can articulate what you're going through and you're ready to be open and you want to help, the counselors are more than ready to work with you. And
Yeah, nice. That's really informative. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I did take CAPS too in my first semester up here. I did not go into CAPS until the second half, I would say. Second half is after like the first midterms, when you probably realize that you're not in a good place, like you need help. I never really took. I felt like I couldn't really make my professors or my friends or anybody for that matter understand my situation. So CAPS was definitely a good resource. And also CAPS, one more thing about CAPS is that they're very flexible. Like, if you have to work on a homework immediately on that day and you can't make it to your appointment, you can just email your counselor and be like, hey, so I can't come into this time, can we reschedule in the same week? And they will do that for you. They're pretty relaxed about it. You can do it more than a certain number of times, but you can do it, it's possible. So they're very flexible. And I was lucky to come up with another girl from Brandywine up to University Park. She was my orientation leader when I was a freshman at Brandywine. So I moved up with her, and we had known each other for 2 years. So she was a great support system for me. She was also going through the same thing, but I think she had a better handle on things than I did. So every day it was me coming from school and crying about how much of a big failure I was. It was a bad time in my life. But CAPS was definitely great. My roommate is an awesome girl. She helped me a lot. And I would say sometimes, if you are rooming with someone from a Commonwealth campus, you should try knocking on their doors and being like, hey, how are you doing? How's your week been? Like, just start talking. Building a rapport with your roommate is very important because then you have kind of like a security system at home, especially since University Park is so big, you need to have a point of reference. So if you build a rapport with your roommate and, if you both come to care about each other enough that you're worried, then that's a very great resource in my opinion. And also, I always had a couple of talks with my professors. Two of the professors that I really liked, they were my engineering professors, and I always would have sit down talks with them. Professors are hard to get hold of, but if you email them at least once or twice in a semester, they will make time for you. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh, I'm busy. No, they will tell you, hey, this is when I'm available. Can you make it? And they'll always work something out for you. And one time I met with my professor during the weekend at Irving's. There's a cafe downtown. It was a very relaxed atmosphere, and we talked about. I was actually doing research in her lab, and we talked about how it was not working out for me anymore because I was working a part-time job, still am, and doing research, 20-hour lab research per week, and school. It was not working out for me. So there are definitely resources if you are willing to help yourself.
I think adding to what Megan said, like having someone like from your branch campus or like who moved with you, or like having a roommate. Like in my situation, I had my roommate, like the same roommate that I have right now since freshman year. So we both were at the branch campus together. We were rooming there together too, and we moved here at University Park together too. And she's an engineering major too. So like it was a really good way to like go home and you're like stressed about all your classes or about all your exams, to like have a connection, like where you like understand each other's problems because you are going through the same thing pretty much because you both transfer to and you're like hard engineering majors too, I think. So it's really important to have like a strong connection with your roommate because like she'll be understanding what you're going through.
Yeah, and I personally didn't have anyone like came out from works that I knew. So I think my biggest the people I helped with the most was the engineering ambassadors. So it's engineering ambassadors is like a development professional program that that gives the tours. So it's basically
Nice. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, guys, that was awesome advice. Like really great experiences. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. On to our next question. Do you wish you had been better informed by your campus before transferring, or do you think your campus did a good job preparing you for life at University Park?
I think they prepare me really well because they give me all the information that I need. But like everyone will agree with me, you're never gonna be prepared to do University Park. So, but then yeah, they definitely gave me like the step up program. So they sent me an email if I want to be part of that. So I could come in. So yeah, I think they did prepare me on that the perspective of what to expect. But I think it was more in myself that I was like, oh, I think I got it, and I was gonna do it. And then when you come up here and they don't know, you realize that it is worse than you thought. So